you can, of course, switch off your cameras. So hello and welcome to the second webinar of the Circular Biocarbon City Interest Group on good practices to improve the quality of biowaste, which has been organized as part of the Circular Biocarbon Horizon 2020 project. We would like to start by thanking Innovo, the organizers of the Circular Week 2023, for having us as part of their program. I hope you all had the opportunity to attend many of the events that they hosted. Also, thank you to Circular Biocarbon Project partners and City Interest Group members, also the guest speakers. And last but not least, thanks to the audience for tuning in today. So my name is Nestor, and I'm a junior expert on circular economy at ICLE Europe. And I'm joined by my colleagues Simon and John, who will make this session more participative. And for those of you who don't know us, so ICLE is a network of cities which has members all around the world. You can see the exact figures on your screens. And we help cities to achieve a low-emission, nature-based, equitable, resilient, and circular development. And so ICLE Europe, our branch of ICLE, it's headquartered in Germany. And ICLE Europe, and specifically our team, the Circular Economy team, is proud to be the leading partner of the Circular Cities Declaration, which is a group of like-minded cities at the forefront of the circular economy in Europe, which has now hitting 80 signatories. This is roughly the agenda for the session today. As you can see, it has been divided into three parts. First, in the first part, we will have Patricio Salice from Novamont. He will speak about higher value valorization of urban biowaste streams and why should we aim at higher levels of purity in those biowaste streams. Then we will have an open floor for 2 or 3 local authorities so that they can give us their testimonials and share their best practices in topics like collection schemes, education campaigns, or sorting infrastructure. And in part 3, we will have Michele Chiavini from the Italian Composting and Biogas Association giving us some key recommendations on how to improve the separate collection. Of course, there is ample time for discussion and interaction, and it will be fantastic if you can share your experiences with us. But just before we kick off, let me remind you a couple of housekeeping rules. So this webinar is being recorded. We would like you to stay muted while others are speaking. You can, of course, contribute to the discussion in the Q&A sessions by raising up your hand. And if there is something very pressing or something that you like to share, feel free to use the chat function. And I'm sure that my colleagues will take care of your comments. So a short introduction to the project, to Circular Biocarbon. So this is a Horizon 2020 project and is led by the Spanish group Urbacer. You can see the exact members of the consortium on the right-hand side of your screens. And it aims to create a first of its kind flagship biorefinery, which will, of course, take two bio-based feedstocks from the cities and through a set of cascading technologies, it will achieve an array of added value products using a circular approach and also unlocking some business opportunities. And so in these processes, cities are key stakeholders, key actors. And when we speak about cities, we mean like in a wider sense, we include local authorities, regional authorities, as well as waste management authorities, because they are the ones who are involved in the collection, in the valorization, in the treatment of different waste streams, and also as actors that can set governance schemes for the bioeconomy more in general, and as actors that can effectively bring other stakeholders together. So in the Circular Biocarbon project, we do have some cities which are benefiting from project development and who we will build capacity with the idea of potentially setting up a biorefinery in their areas eventually. So this is the second webinar of the series, and follow like a chronological order. also in relation to the project. So in the first webinar, we learned the basics about setting up an organic bio-waste biorefinery, and we learned about the barriers and the solutions to setting up a biorefinery. You can click there on the link we have included if you want to watch it later. And in this second webinar, we will focus on one of the two feedstocks of the biorefinery, so namely the organic fraction of the municipal solid waste. We will focus on the relevance of collecting this feedstock, taking into account the quantity, but also the quality of it, which is something that oftentimes is overlooked, as we will learn. And we will also learn about what cities are doing to collect biowaste and how cities can improve that collection of biowaste. And without further ado, I think we can start with our first guest, Patrizio. Thanks for joining. So the floor is yours, and maybe you can share your screen and introduce yourself. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you a lot, Nestor. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Patrizio Salice. I'm project manager at Novamont. And first of all, let me thank you very much, both ICLE for the organization, for the organizer of the Circular Week event, and all of you for attending. And of course, a big thank you to the coordinator, Urbaser, for allowing us to have this interesting webinar and dissemination opportunity. Today, I'm going to talk to you about higher value valorization or urban bio-waste streams. And I'm doing to do that in the framework of the flagship BBIJU Circular Biocarbon project. But first, let me just say a few words about the company I work for, which is a partner of the Circular Biocarbon project. It is Novamont. Novamont is a benefit company, a B Corp certified, which is international leader in the bioplastic sector and in the development of bioproducts and biochemical through the integration of chemistry, environment, and agriculture. Our goal that we pursue is that of territorial regeneration through the develop a circular bioeconomy model where the bioproducts are a solution to specific environmental problems. Our mission is related to the development materials, and biochemistry for the obtaining of a practical solution that ensure an efficient use of resources through their entire life cycle with clear advantages for social, economic, and environmental systems. Our commercial biomaterial portfolio is known through the trend name MatterB. And MatterB is a controlled bioplastic which is characterized by having both increasing renewable content and as well is characterized by being biodegradable and compostable. These bioplastics respect high quality standard, are solution to specific environmental problems, and can provide added values at the end of life of specific value chains. They also they biodegrade in controlled environment, which includes industrial composting, home composting, soils, but also in marine environment. And they are accredited and certified by external international bodies and are conformed to the European standard EN 13432. What's really important for us is to develop solutions that are biodegradable and compostable. And why is that important? Well, the biodegradability is the capacity of our given material to be converted into its elements such as CO2, biomass, nutrient salts by the action of microorganisms in specific environment at specific temperature and oxygen concentration. This is an important requirement, and for compostability, what is required for industrial compostability is required that more than 90% of the material will biodegrade between 6 months. Not only that, but it's also important, especially when it comes to managing compost, that the final product can disintegrate rather efficiently in an industrial composting pile. And this is determined by a disintegration rate, which shall allow the final bioproduct to disintegrate more than 90% in 3 months in industrial composting. Of course, for the obtaining of high-quality compost, it's important that the low levels of emitted metals are present in the final bioproduct, and there are no negative effect of the compost obtained through the compostability of biomaterials. All of these criteria are reported within the standard EN 13432. And this is represent an harmonized standard. So through the development of bioplastics, it's possible to obtain a whole series of products which are compostables and can find application in many different sectors, starting for carrier bags and fruit and vegetable bags for large retailers, for, of course, the compostable bags for the separate collection of organic waste in urban cities, but also biodegradable and soil mulch films for agriculture, barrier food packaging for final consumers, food service for canteen and large events, and also many other different applications that are still in development and commercial point of view. In particular, one of example that was successfully developed by Novamont and other partners is related to the use of biomaterials for the production of compostable carrier bags used as waste bags for the collection of organic waste. These products are now reach different municipalities across Europe, but one of the first was the city of Milano in Italy. Actually, Milano is now able to divert from the landfill and collect more than 100 kilograms per year per inhabitant of organic waste and transform that into compost. This is possible thanks to the use of biodegradable and compostable waste bags obtained from certified biomaterials. Since and while this was not possible before the introduction of this product, since they used to be collected in non-biodegradable bags that could result in contamination of organic compost. This model was tested since the 1990s, and starting from them, it was many different good practices has been developed, starting from small municipality up to larger municipalities such as Milano. These require the distribution of compostable bags for the separate collection of organic waste. And this is coupled also with creating awareness with the final end users and administration that could manage this kind of value chain. And then, in collaboration with waste management, there is a door-to-door collection, and the organic waste collected is then treated in composting piles, monitored, and once certified as for a good quality, it is used in agriculture, which especially in those fields that surround the larger cities. Over the years, this model that has been developed in the surrounding of Milano has been extended nationwide in Italy. And since 2011, there has been an Italian law that aim at reduce the number of disposable bags used. This was achieved by introducing compostable bags as well as creating awareness with the final end users. And thanks to that, it was possible to obtain a double results. From one side, to improve the quality of compost collected from door-to-door collection. And on the other side, it was possible to decrease significantly the amount of traditional shopping bags being used in Italy. So nowadays you can see that there are less than half of the shopping bags that were used just 10 years ago. This is an incredible result and tell us that by engineering specific solution, such as the use of compostable bags for valuable application, it's possible to add both social and environmental and economic benefit as well. Just imagine that Italy is nowadays the first in Europe for the recycling of food waste with 47% with respect to a 60% of a European average, and this number is still increasing. These are additional numbers that are obtained through AMSA. AMSA is the waste management operator in Milano, and you can see the dark blue rectangles, which represent the food waste that's been able to separate, to collect separately and revalorize in the city of Milano, while the number related to plastics and metal, glass, and paper have not changed a lot between 2011 2015, thanks to the introduction of compostable shopping bags from biodegradable material. It's really been possible to separate the organic fraction from the rest one, and thus to divert organic fraction from landfill where it could generate biogas. But in this is a concrete opportunity for the production of high quality compost. Nowadays, more than 130,000 tons per year of organic waste are separated and converted into fertile compost just in Milano. But in Novamont, we are not just focused in providing biomaterials that offer a concrete solution. We are also focusing in sourcing sustainable raw material for the production of our bioplastics. Nowadays, in mean, considering our overall production, 58% of our raw material are of renewable origins, and 99.8% of the electricity and 100% of the heating purchased from certified renewable resources. We have, since 2017, we have seen a 24% reduction in specific energy consumption in our company, and we have been awarded with the Platinum Medal in EcoVadis assessment. Considering the B Corp assessment, we are best in the world. You are first in Italy and Europe, and second worldwide among large companies in the environmental category. What can we do more than that? We are actively taking part in research, development, innovation project in collaboration with leading Italian, European, and international companies and R&D center and university in order to create strategic partnership that can be active in researching, developing, and industrializing the next generation of biochemicals and biomaterials. In particular, among the many different European projects, let me give you a little bit more context about circular biocarbon and other projects where we valorize urban waste within project consortium. First of all, why it is important to source sustainable feedstock and what we are doing. Well, in the course of its life, Novamont has always looked at the upstream integration. And while we have amply explored the use of vegetable oils and absorbing hygiene products and, of course, agro-industrial waste, we see that there are two large family of feedstock that should be addressed. One, of course, is biogenic CO2 from fermentation, and we're working on that on other projects. But Of course, we believe that the organic fraction of municipal solid waste as well, the urban wastewater, are a gold mine for carbon. Carbon that could be useful, for example, for the conversion into volatile fatty acid and biopolymers such as polyhydroxyalkanoates. A value chain like this could result in the development of novel bio-based materials with enhanced biodegradability in mesophilic environments, such as, for example, useful for biodegradable soil films, but also useful for the development of biodegradable and combustible waste bags with improved disintegration kinetics in anaerobic digestion plants, and also with faster biodegradation in industrial composting plant and non-composting plants. Uh, to do that, we have worked at the demonstration scale in at least 3 different projects. In the project Excalibur, we have valorized, together with a partner, organic fraction of municipal solid waste into bio-based material for applications such as the food packaging trays and waste collection bags. At demo scale, we have also worked at the recovery and valorization of cellulose from urban wastewater for the production of sugars, and from the sugar, different polyester and biomaterial for mulch film and injection molded caps. We've also worked with within Embrace for the recovery of cellulose from adsorbent hygiene products, and as well the production of sugars and bioplastics and biomaterials for secondary packaging of adsorbent products in a circular bioeconomy case. All of these 3 innovation projects have supported demonstration of a larger biorefinery model that's strongly based on the concept of modularity, flexibility, and could exploit sustainable feedstock from the cities, from urban environment, European region, toward obtaining on higher value-added materials. And that is why we are committed to work within the Circular Biocarbon BBIJU flagship project. This project, which is coordinated by Urbaser, aims at the valorization of organic municipal, the organic fraction municipal solid waste, as well as sewage sludge. How is in order to obtain different high value added products that goes from coating to fertilizer, biostimulants, and in case of Novamont, we are going to convert the organic fraction municipal solid waste and the carbon in the sewage sludge into biodegradable and combustible waste bag and biodegradable soil films, thanks to technology provided by other consortium partners. Let me show you this graph from an article in 2021, which clearly show from a literature research that the organic fraction of municipal solid waste contain a rich amount of nutrients and carbon and can be used for the production of bioproducts that can help to achieve target of sustainability and circular bioeconomy. This is a fast-growing field with a lot of research that goes beyond what we already know about biogas valorization and organic fraction solid utilization. This is about developing novel technology which can allow us to obtain higher value-added products. One of these technology is a green biotechnology process. This blue shape represent a microbial sac factory. And as you are aware, many waste management operators have already biotechnology process ongoing. For example, the anaerobic digestion for the production of biogas, that is a fermentation process. But through the selection of specific microbial cell factory and the engineering of specific strains, it's possible to convert the organic fraction not just in biogas, but also in higher value-added products, such as biopolymer, including polyhydroxyalkanoates, biopesticide, enzyme, biofuels, and biochemicals. So the application sustainable bioprocessing technology is useful for the recovery and valorization of resources that are actually in the organic fraction or urban waste. This goes beyond what we know as the traditional linear model, and they go toward novel circular bioeconomy models and a sustainable approach method. I've mentioned already a couple of times polydroxylcanoate as a biopolymer, what they are and why are they important. Well, polydroxylcanoate are biopolymers produced by microorganisms, and these biopolymers are characterized by fast biodegradation kinetics in mesophilic environments such as soil or composting, marine environment, and they are obtained starting from carbon sources. So the microorganisms can use the carbon sources, for example, for example, volatile fatty acid, and convert them into this biopolymer. Through downstream technology, it's possible to recover the pristine granule or powder of these biopolymers and use them for the production of bioplastics and final bioproducts such as films, injection molding products, thermoforming products, and many different other. So what we are doing in the Circular Biocarbon project is to take advantage of the Sheffer technology. The Sheffer technology, which was developed among the other by Francesco Fatone and Nicola Frison from the University Politecnica delle Marche and the University of Verona, both partners in the Circular Biocarbon project, required the conversion through an anaerobic fermentation process of the carbon in wastewater organic waste into volatile fatty acids. So the volatile fatty acids are then converted through a second fermentation, aerobic fermentation step into polyhydroxyalkanoate, these biopolymers which are recovered following a downstream process. This is a straight working process thanks to the implementation of simple reactor could be interconnected with the pre-existent waste management facility and wastewater facility, and it's been done within the Circular Biocarbon project by our partner CAP in Sesto San Giovanni. Once the polyhydroxyalkanoate from sewage sludge, organic fraction, municipal solid waste have been recovered, they could be combined with biopolyester, bio-based and biodegradable polyesters, such as those obtained by Novamont, starting from sugars and vegetable oils, in order to obtain material, bio-based and biodegradable material with tailored properties for a wide range of applications. And within the Circular Biocarbon project, this application include compostable bags for the organic waste fraction collection and biodegradable solid film. Why is that important? Because we are demonstrating that both it will be possible to recover resources from urban waste in a circular approach for the production of compostable bags that could be used to further improve the performances of organic collection. Not only that, but we are also demonstrating that waste resources from the city could be converted into high-performing materials and products for the surrounding rural area, and thus fostering an interconnection between the urban cities and the farmers in the rural areas. There will be a lot more information available through the website and in the coming months related to the Circular Biocarbon project. So I will kindly invite you to follow the Circular Biocarbon through these different social media, and please do not hesitate to contact us as you require further information about the technology, about the model, and about the exploitation opportunity that we see following the success of this project. So let me thank you very much for your for attending this meeting. Let me thank the partners for working together, and of course, let me thank you, BBEJU, now CBEJU, and the Horizon 2020 for supporting and funding this great project. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Patrizio, for such an insightful presentation. We would like to invite participants to participate in the discussion. Do we have any reactions among the audience now? Yeah, I see Pericles. You can go ahead.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Just to introduce myself, I'm Pericles Kafasis, and I am Director of Supply Services and EU Project of Waste Management of Western Macedonia Authority, which is called DIADIMA, and we are the responsible waste management body for the whole region of Western Macedonia. I would like to ask, because I suppose that the call under which this specific program for biorefinery was approved, it was one call where we were very interested in participating, but unfortunately we couldn't be ready on time to submit the proposal. I would like to ask about the quantities of waste that are that are treated through the facilities, and how many waste are in the entrance of the biorefinery, because here in Western Macedonia we have a mechanical and biological treatment plant. When we designed it, the quantity of the waste in our region was approximately 120,000 tons per year. But after the financial crisis and the brain drain and all these problems that Greece faced, now after all these years, the quantity of the waste is reaching 90,000 tons per year. So, under these circumstances, we would like to know if it is viable for us, from not only from technical but mainly from financial point of view, if it is viable for us to design such a biorefinery for our area with 90,000 tons per year and with approximately 45 to 50% of organic waste. Thank you.
No, thank to you, Pericles. I really appreciate your question. It's really relevant, and I'm sorry about the missed opportunity. I hope there will be other in the future. So the circular biocarbon project /1 is at TRL 8. What we are going to do is to demonstrate at increasing capacity the different technology related to the one that we follow, and that is the obtaining of biomaterials from the PHA, from the organic fractional municipal solid waste. We aim to produce thousands of tons of final biomaterials, particularly. So I have still to check about the amount of organic fraction and supersludge that has been directed to produce those thousands of tons of biomaterials, but we would expect and consider water content. We are not so far with respect to the number that we have stated. You probably know that the partner working with us and implementing this PHA Schaeffer technology is Kappa. Here, Kappa. So maybe we can have a discussion. Of course, I believe it will be a great opportunity to discuss along the development of the project and see if maybe the success in Sesto San Giovanni can be replicated in Macedonia.
Yes, that would be very interesting because our EBT plant was financed through a PPP project. So now we have the private company which has operated the plant the last 6 years and will operate it for the next 19 years as well. But of course, because now all the compost that is coming from the plant, it's not a high quality compost, and we use it only for restoration, you know. Maybe it would be very interesting for them to consider other options and to see other options for using this organic fraction.
Really interesting. Thank you, Pericles. Let's keep in touch. I will write to you.
Of course, of course.
Exactly. Thanks.
Ευχαριστώ, Pericles.
Thanks, Pericles.
You're welcome.
So, do we have more questions from the audience?
Maybe Simon from Clay, if I may.
Sure, Simon, go ahead.
So I think you presented different types of bioplastics, Patrizio. So high added value materials compared to what exists today. So, but to what extent can cities really harness the potential of those added value material, and how can they use it to generate more revenue to finance bio-waste collection, bio-waste treatment, and so on? Is it something that they can do, and do you have examples?
If we've seen how the price of raw materials have been changed since the pandemic, the following supply chain disruption, and especially since the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, we are in deep need of finding a sustainable access, also economical sustainable access to raw materials that could be effectively valorized, since standard first generation feedstock has prices that have reached really high values. So what I'm talking about sugars that can be recovered, for example, we've seen from the cellulose of sweat sludges. Now, think that the price of glucose has increased as much as 2.5 times higher than before the pandemic in its maximum. We are interested also in the valorization of vegetable oils, and probably many of you are aware of the current shortage of vegetable oils that are affecting prices in all South Mediterranean area, Spain, France, Italy. And of course, we are interested through these kind of approaches to find carbon that are not easy recover typically with traditional technology, but with this kind of technology could be. And why this makes sense? You should consider that a biopolymer such as polyhydroxyalkanoate is currently provided by China and Japan with prices that are from 5 to 10 euro per kilo, so 5,000 to 10,000 euro per ton. And considering the value chain and the technology, once upscale, a commercial scale, we expect that could be valorized and could be in competition with the one, also from an economical point of view, with the one that's already been produced from first generation feedstock. So the opportunity will be here and will be there for increased revenues and valorization of waste streams for the waste management operators. Also improve opportunity for the urban cities that can negotiate along the whole value chain a better profits, because then the materials will close the loop from the urban waste through the waste management operators, then back through technological provider to the final consumers. And of course, let's not forget that in any cases, the valorization of compost can provide a little bit of economical value for farmers and waste management operators, if of high quality, of course.
Great. Thanks for this answer.
Yeah, thanks, Patrizio. In our conversations with cities, we often hear that the economic return of the investment is one of the biggest challenges. So it's great that you gave your presentation as well on this. So now we would maybe like to. Well, are there more questions, or do we have more questions? Nope. So I think we can then maybe move on and give the floor to local practitioners to learn what's happening on the ground in the cities. So these are cities that are part of the city interest group of the Circular Biocarbon project. And I think we have a pretty good representation of the different types of authorities that are part of this project. And we have regional authorities, we have also local authorities, and we have also waste management authorities. So maybe, I don't know if there is any volunteer here. Otherwise, maybe we can start in alphabetical order. So maybe the province of Gipuzkoa wants to share their testimonials.
Hello, good morning to all. For me, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. To introduce myself, my name is Mikel Oribe, and I am R&D technician in Naturklima, which is a new foundation attached directly to the environmental department of Gipuzkoa Provincial Council. Okay. So to start, I would like to point out that Gipuzkoa is a landfill-free region, and this is because we have implemented an intensive source separation collection systems for organic fraction, paper, coffee capsules, oil, glass, and packaging. We are performing the organic fraction collection through a specific container known as a fifth container, and with these fractions now we are producing biomethane through a centralized plant located near to the city of this region, San Sebastian. And we have also a pilot project to produce hydrogen from the biomethane, but now is in demo scale. Okay. So currently we are not producing any high value bioproducts from the organic fraction, just only fuels, biomethane and hydrogen. Okay.
Exactly. Do you want me to move to the next slide?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, just I wanted just to give an overall activities that we are performing now.
Sure. Then I see something about the bill linked to the waste management. Do you have the capacity to influence there, or is it something that?
No, it depends on the environmental department of provincial council. So we are not we don't have the capacity to influence. Our activities is mainly focused in fostering the circular economy projects more than influencing in policies.
Okay, understood. I see that also that economic viability is a challenge for bio-based products in Gipuzkoa. Which options do you have to generate additional revenue from these products, for example?
In the past, we have some projects just to produce some bioproducts from different waste that are produced in the territory, and we found out that the main barrier for commercializing this product were the economic feasibility, because in some cases they were very expensive comparing to the alternative already in the markets.
Great.
Okay.
Great. Is there anything you'd like to share? Anything else? No.
Enough.
Okay. Thank you very much.
A lot of people, so
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if anyone has any reactions. In any case, thank you, Miguel.
Okay.
Now, do we have any other volunteer who wants to present, to give a testimonial from the region, from the cities, from their waste management authorities? I think we have some cities from the city interest group. We have the city of Mikkeli here from Finland. Do they want to share their testimonials?
Hello all, I'm Johanna Järvinen from the city of Mikkeli, Finland, and I'm a circular economy expert, and I previously worked with the bio-waste stream in the City Loops project, a European Horizon project, and currently working on the textile waste. So this is some pre-knowledge for you. And I'm sorry I don't have any slides for this, but I can go verbally through what we are doing with the bio-waste here. And I had some questions that you asked from us. What are the collection schemes and present in our city and region? So in Mikkeli, we separately collect carton, paper, glass, drinking bottles. That would be plastic and cans, metals, plastics, bio-waste, and of course now textiles as well. And on bio-waste, we have a current project, BioVirta, that is a spin-off project from the City Loops main project, and that is continuing the work of promoting the separate collection of bio-waste and working with the biorefinery to study and test and optimize the processes of the methanization of the bio-waste feed. And then there were questions that is there a separate collection of bio-waste? So yes, we have a waste law that demands the separate collection of this bio-waste, and you may collect the bio-waste in the bio-waste bin or in your own compost. And if you have your own compost, you have to register this compost to the authorities. Then there were questions on the treatment processes of this bio-waste stream. So we have a biorefinery plant that processes this bio-waste into biofuel. And after this, the processed feed is further composted into soil products and mulch and such. And there is still studies and development undergoing to extract the liquid rejects from the dry rejects to make fertilizers. So that's something we're still working on. And then there was a question, what would you do to improve the collection and treatment of the bio-waste in our region? So yes, we have a lot of work to do with that. We need to promote for the citizens of Mikkeli to collect their bio-waste separately, and that's something I think we need to do continuously, because if we somehow stop the promoting it, the bio-waste amounts will decline in the bio-waste collection, and they will rise in the mixed waste collection. So that's something we need to continually do. And so we're working in different projects and helping out, and of course we're looking into perhaps writing new projects in helping out with the needs of separate collection of several wastes, not only bio-waste. And then what can our organization contribute to that? So I think Mikkeli has well done in previous projects, and doing is help in product development and give resources through projects to help the companies develop these new products through waste streams. So that's something we can help out with. And then there are questions of what is our organization doing with promoting the circularity of the urban bio-waste streams. So currently we're looking for new projects that would be dealing with these waste streams and maybe jump starting in collaboration with other companies to work on collecting these streams and using it to their optimized best as possible. And so currently we're also working with the biochar producing companies to look into this opportunity. And yes, I think that's about it from Mikkeli for now.
Thank you, Johanna, for your testimonial. If you would like to, or if you have to summarize your challenges, would you say what's like the biggest challenge or the nature of the challenge? Is it the awareness raising a big challenge? Is it the financing a big challenge?
I think all of them are a big challenge. Awareness raising, it's not really hard, but the hardest is to keep having the resources to do that. So if you start with a project, how to go on after the project, because if you stop on promoting the separate collection of bio-waste, it will just decline. You will not be collecting enough bio-waste as before. So that's something. I think the resources to do that work would need something that's very long-lived to keep up with the promotional work needed.
Great, thanks. So maybe we can move on to a next city. I think we also have the city of Kozani from Greece, from Western Macedonia, actually.
Yes, hello, from Kozani. We'll try to share the slide.
Do you want to share them? Okay, you can share them, sure. Otherwise, I can manage as well.
If you could, it would be better.
Okay. So the floor is yours, Eleni.
Okay. First of all, municipality of Kozani is a city of about 66,000 citizens. It is in the region of Western Macedonia, and in our region, the 12 municipalities have formed the ADIMA, the Western Macedonia Management Company, Waste Management Company. Pericles has already said some words about this management company. And we have different responsibilities. The municipalities have the responsibilities for the collection of the waste in the cities and the villages. And the ADIMA has the responsibilities for registering them separately, and the transportation and the other treatment and final management that is needed. The collection schemes that we're using is collection at source. We collect separately paper, plastic, metal, glass, fabrics on full scale in the whole municipality. And we have organic cooking oils and hazardous domestic waste in a smaller scale. Can we change? Now for the organic waste, we have containers at neighborhoods. We have already given small plastic containers for families so that they could separate their organic waste and then dispose them to the bigger container, which is collected twice per week from the municipality. And there is an alternative for those who live in one-floor houses, some family houses, single-family houses, with having domestic composting. That is a new project that we are working on. It we have given about 200 domestic containers, and it's a project that we are working on, and we are trying to have on a larger scale. Can we change? Now, as we have already said, we have the ADIMA, which is working functioning the integrating waste management central facilities, which is a few kilometers away from the municipality of Kozani. It's very close. There, Pericles can say more words about this issue, about these facilities. The main treatment is composting, but unfortunately, as we have already mentioned, the compost that is produced is not of very high purity. So this is a challenge that we are all working on to manage to have a better quality of compost. And can we change? Now, as you can see in the diagram, you can see, oh, it's not very well shown, the quantities that we have that are produced and the percentage that we collect separately. Unfortunately, we have low percentages of collection of bio-waste. It's about 4%, but we have high targets. 35% until 2025. We believe that the problems that the main challenges that we have the reasons why we don't have so much high separate collection is because we have just started to go to full scale for all bio-waste. We are only having a small area for the moment. And we have just managed to procure all the necessary vehicles and containers. We are using financial tools that are available because it has a high cost and it needs a lot of sources to manage to go to full scale. And it is one of our targets to manage to collect separately as much bio-waste as we can. Can we change? It needs a lot of effort. It needs a lot of people to work with us, and we have a lot of projects and at schools and for citizens. On training, open info days, so as to try to involve as much people as we can. It isn't that easy as it sounds. It needs a lot of effort, and it needs to manage to make the others trust us that we are going on the right way on these issues. And of course, we have the largest problem we have is the lack of employees and lack of employees, both on technical issues of how they will be collected and on issues about managing to inform the people and make the idea broader. And that's all from us. That's how we move in the Western Macedonia. That's all we are trying to do. I don't know if Pericles has something else to add.
In any case,
No,
thank you. Thank you very much, Eleni. I don't know, Pericles, do you want to add something else?
No, Eleni, even if it was a brief presentation, it was full of information. Just to add that in the mechanical and biological treatment plan, we have a guaranteed quantity of waste that must be given to the plant with a specific gate fee per ton for all the municipalities of Western Macedonia. And this guaranteed quantity is 90,000 tons per year. So you can imagine that we are on the limits of the guaranteed quantity. But the good thing is that when the separate collection networks of organic fraction will be at full scale, then the contract that we have signed with the contractor and the operator of the plant will change, and they are going to ask for a lower gate fee for the organic fraction that is coming there to the plant, and it is pure, because it does not have to follow the same line as the mixed waste, and for that reason they will charge lower the municipality, the admin, and the municipalities as well. That's the only information that I wanted to add.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pericles. It's also great to have these two perspectives of local authority and a waste management authority that work together, but oftentimes like the realities are related, but are also different. I don't know if we have any questions from the guests to the three authorities that have presented now their testimonials. In any case, yeah, well, we can see that some of the challenges keep repeating once and again. So, for example, yeah, the financing is a challenge, as said before. Awareness raising is also challenging. Then there is the matter of what ability does each and what competencies does each authority have. So yeah, well, I see a raised hand, Simon.
Yeah, thank you. It's just a simple questions to Kozani. So you mentioned that you were piloting a pay-as-you-throw system. Could you tell a bit more about this, and especially like, would you have recommendations to give on how to implement such a system? So I think you said it wasn't only for biowaste, right? It was for different fractions.
No, it will be for all fractions, the pay-as-you-throw system. It will be a pilot project in an area of the city, and it will be on weighing the waste and at underground containers. And we will try to, it is one of the measures that we are taking so as to manage to have more separate parts of the waste. And we are going to try to connect it with the taxes the people are paying for the municipal management, and we will try. The benefit will be that we will give less bulk waste to the waste management company. So what we will gain from that will be transported to the citizens who are working with us on this issue. It's something that we will be starting in this year in 2024, and it will need much effort from our side to manage it. but we believe that it will go okay, and to expand it then, the target is to expand it to the whole municipality.
Excellent. Really interesting. Thank you. So it will allow you to reduce the mixed waste and to increase the amount of the separately collected fractions.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The best of luck, Eleni, in that
Thank
target
you.
that you had. Sure. Okay. As I see no more questions, no raised hands, maybe we can move on to part 3 of today's webinar, because I see that we are a bit behind schedule. So in part 3, we will focus on how to improve separate collection in practice with key recommendations of, I think, one of the leading experts on the field. We are happy to have Michele Chiavini with us. So Michele, maybe you can introduce yourself and you can share your slides.
Yeah. Thank
Thanks.
you, Nestor. Thank you for the introduction. Indeed, I've been working with the separate collection of biowaste since 20 years, and I'm quite involved in international projects, also because of the upcoming obligation of the introduction of separate collection by the end of this year at EU level. So that's why, I cooperate with the Italian Composting Association. I'm an expert cooperating with different entities, and typically they call us in many congresses, webinars, and exchange of experiences, because we are in Italy, we are quite a peculiar case study, because we were able to move from nothing to excellence in a time span of, I would say, 20 years, more or less. But now we are really quite have something to say. I hope you can see my screen, my share screen. Okay, so
Yes, we can.
I can move on with the. You have a quite long presentation, but don't worry, I will stay in 15-20 minutes. Just a quick introduction about what we do. We are an association gathering members like composting facilities and also research institutes or consultancies, and we cooperate together in order to promote high quality compost, also giving recommendations and suggestions to the European Commission, to the ministries and to regions at the EU level. Just to mention, we are now part of a live project which is called Live BioBest, and I see that between the participants there are two people from the main beneficiary, which is Ant. We have Gemma and Mike, so maybe they can write in the chat the link of the website, which is livebiobest.eu, and it's really aimed at gathering best practices and guideline across the EU in order to validate strategies and policies and prepare a kind of recommendation on different aspects in order to improve separate collection. I would go quickly on this part, but really you can ask any kind of question later, even directly to Gemma and Mike. Thank you for participating. But I would just like to say that because of this experience, they call us everywhere to talk about separate collection. This is me in New York, 2017, when we did the trial in Manhattan, in Stuytown, in order to try and improve habits in separate collection by waste even there. And we were able to kind of improve the collection quality and quantity by 400% by giving convenience, the right tools, give the right information to citizens. It's not only New York. I added this slide because last week I had to go to Ramallah. I obviously couldn't go, but we are part of the project there. So we really want to hear good news and success stories, even from those territories. And yeah, there is a composting facility implemented in the framework of an ENI project in 2015, now revamped and improved. It's operating. It's a real success story. This project Circles is, you can find the link here, and it's really gathering good experiences from across the Mediterranean, including Greece. We have a very good example in Greece in the island of Andros. It's quite interesting. It's a combination of kind of community composting together with door-to-door collection. So If you want to find out more, I could explain in a separate moment. Talking about the current efficiency in separate collection of biowaste, we published together with BIC, big consortium, which is a department of biocarbon, this report, and we are going most probably to update it in the upcoming months. Sorry. We discovered that currently, sorry, only 16% of food waste is separate collected in Europe. This is an impressive number. We were able to capture and to gather official data. When we talk about bio-waste, maybe it's something more, including garden waste. But if we focus on food waste, there are a few countries getting to 50 or 60%. One was Italy. Now we are getting even better. But there are countries that are barely collecting no food waste. So everything is sent to landfill or even incineration. And if you focus in your project, for instance, in bio innovation and new biorefineries, and we find out that 85% is sent to landfill, is really always an impressive number. We know about the obligation by the end of this year, and an upcoming even more important obligation that this bio-waste should be accounted as recycled only if it's separately collected at source. So the role of MBT will be gradually phased out. In this respect, a lot of recommendations and warning reports have been sent by the European Commission to member states in order to try and convince everyone to start with separate collection of bio-waste. We know what bio-waste is, you all know about it. Just again, to focus on food waste, because probably it's the most difficult fraction to collect. And there is, the hierarchy in food waste management. Let's say, first of all, that we are generating, keep in mind a couple of key numbers, 113 kilos per capita a year from households and similar to household sources. Keep this in mind, because now I will show you here, for instance, a map from Italy about the provinces and their capture rate in kilos per inhabitant. So we had 10 years ago, 2013, provinces capturing 86, 100, close to 90%, 100% of participation rate. So our scheme was and is really effective in this respect. But for some may say that food waste prevention should be on top. Yeah, it's for granted. We should prevent food waste. Unfortunately, what we get from numbers from official surveys and research on a wide area impact of the campaigns on avoidable food waste prevention show that the effectiveness is around 2, 5, maximum 10 kilos per capita. Because of the intrinsic limitation, not everyone is prepared and able to reduce or to halve food waste, like the general target we have worldwide. Is not so easy. Even backyard composting and the proximity composting work. There are good examples, very good examples, but according to most updated numbers, most probably we get to something around 30, 40, 50 kilos per capita in a year on rural villages and specific situations. So we still have to deal with another 50, 60, 70 kilos per capita. That's why the following step is centralized composting, even with small-scale plants, but collection. So please collect that. Don't leave it to landfill, because many, many times I have listened to stakeholders saying, we have to do food waste prevention, we do some limited backyard composting and we are done. No, that's not the case. Okay, so we want to collect food waste with a convenient scheme in which we can find our convenient tool This is my kit in my kitchen, having the small vented kitchen caddy with compostable bags in order to have a successful implementation. This is Milan, the city of Milan, 1.3 million people. A couple were going to work, and under their stairs, they will find the brown bin, and that's it. And the participation is done. Our model, the typical door-to-door model in Italy is like this. We rely even on transparent bags, on small buckets, small bins, and even lightweight lorries, vehicles like this with a unique operator, small tank vehicles passing by door to door in order to improve, really to individualize the system and to give an easy way to, you know, one may say it's more driving intensive, but as they are light truck, it's in the end, even in terms of fuel consumption and labor effort, less intensive than other models. Well, many comparisons can be made. For sure, the quality is strictly related to collection scheme. So we want a model in which we don't want contamination, and with door-to-door we get lower than 5% contamination, typically even lower than 2%. With open bring banks that many cities have, unfortunately, we have higher than 10-15% contamination, which is really, really bad in this sense. A snapshot of the collection schemes around the EU. Like you see here in Milan, we have this scheme, and we are able to capture 103 kilos per capita, which is really impressive. This scheme is quite the same in Copenhagen, for instance, but they have a lower capture rate for different reasons. In Ljubljana, they are famous. It's quite similar with lower frequencies, and the capture rate is a little bit less and a little bit higher impurities. In Madrid, they started with a scheme trying and rolling out the collection in the whole of the city, collecting quite a bit, but with a lot of impurities. More than 23% were preliminary data that I had. I think it's going on like this. More models, the locked individual access container like in Brescia or in Pamplona. Again, good quantities. Impurities are on average. There are cases and cases. You have to be able to maintain a good control to citizens in order to encourage their participation and not just to block them and to limit the access to the container. A lot of research has to be done in this respect, but it's quite a promising model to some extent. I wouldn't go into this detail, but I would say in Italy we have this scheme in which we are using transparent bags, which in many areas in Europe may seem really crazy. You are showing to me the content of your rubbish. Okay, but this is not rubbish. This is something that you have purchased before. This is your plastic bottle. And you have to be aware that you have to separate, so someone should be controlling you. It's a kind of psychological effect. Privacy issues have to be solved, but they can be solved. So now we are using really this, like giving alerts to people not separating properly and so on. So don't hide. This message is don't hide, be transparent. And in the end, this is a steady trend, talking about a kind of industrial point of view. This is the evolution of the treatment capacity in Italy since 2000, year 2000 and on, an increase of 10% every year constantly, even in the crisis of 2008, in the crisis of COVID and everything, the increase in capture rate and treatment facilities was impressive. So now we have 300 composting facilities, more than 8 million tons per year treated. And an average of 120, food waste, 87 kilos per capita in a year on 60 million people. So it's something that says it can be done. It can be done everywhere, and you have no turning back. It's feasible everywhere, and some very quick hints for optimizations. Like, for instance, this is from my home. The truck collecting my house is a split compartment truck, very light. They are collecting residual waste and food waste in compostable bags in the same truck. So no additional vehicle, no additional effort, everything easy and quick. Yeah, I have the picture of Andros. Yeah, I didn't remember. So this is a completely different model in which in the island of Andros in Greece, it's really like a kind of proximity composting system, quite spread in Spain and in the Basque Country especially. But yeah, it's coupled with a door-to-door collection performed with unemployed people and women. It's a kind of social inclusion project, very interesting. So it's, yeah, very flexible. I would go, I will jump this because it's a kind of, yeah, example, detailed example of capture rates in other European cities. But the summary is why cities like, for instance, Paris, they started with separate collection of food waste some years ago, and the capture rate was so low. Quality was high, but the participation was really so low. Even if the model was the same, like, vented caddies and compostable bags and everything, but participation was so low. And so I said, well, maybe that's because Paris is not surrounded by more or barely any municipalities doing food waste collection. So they are kind of the first. They wanted to start in the metropolis with the collection, but around it's not a common habit. So that's why even Madrid is quite the same. While look at this map, Milan is the white spot surrounded by many municipalities doing food waste collection since many years. 2010, 14, 1998, 2, 6, 10, 2014. So in 2014, Milan decided to introduce the collection because it was forced. It was surrounded by an army of municipalities already demonstrating the good practice. So the fact is that if you copy and paste from other areas, it's always the best effect that you can have, the best motivation you can get, especially if you see that it's feasible. And if the economics are right, obviously. And this is another part of my presentation, because again, there is the obligation. Bio-waste is the most important fraction. We need to separate it. We need organic matter for the soils. But there is no EPR scheme like paper and glass and plastics. Very few incentive schemes. TEP, I don't know if you're familiar with, in the European Waste Framework Directive, there is a sentence says that there could be derogation if the separate collection is technically, environmentally, and economically not practicable. Practical. So what does it mean? If it is too expensive, maybe we could have a derogation. But if it's too expensive because there are no incentives. And so it's a loophole. Yeah, exactly. Member states may allow derogations if separate collection would entail disproportionate economic cost in implementing it. This is the devil in the detail. So one member state may say, no, I wouldn't start. It's too expensive. But it's too expensive because of other boundary conditions. For instance, their landfill gate fee is very low. So obviously it's cheaper to go to landfill than to go to composting. So that's why we want kind of incentive schemes and some polluter pays principle, because we cannot leave this just to the market. You cannot sell compost to a very high price in most of the situations. So we need to put taxes on landfill and incineration. These are two very good examples, one in Sardinia and one in Catalonia, in which simply by collecting a waste tax and giving it back to municipalities that are doing well, was the key to improve their performances in a matter of a few years. And take into consideration that any kind of contamination is expensive. So if we include, if we have plastics inside, we have economic costs hidden because plastics has a dragging effect, dragging organic matter with that, and we had to get rid of it, paying a disposal cost. Final 2 or 3 slides. In order to improve habits, you need communication and information. Showing this because I was involved in another project, Life, Rethink Waste, in which we tried different communication tools like nudging, which is give information to citizens and talk to them with positive recommendations. Something like very easy messages like your neighbor is better than you, the average of your city is better than you, and this was powerful in order to make people aware that they can do that. An example related to bio-waste, pictures taken in a bin, there were not compostable bags. That picture was sent via WhatsApp back to the residents saying, please be aware, you have to improve. And then they improved their habits. Final remarks. Separate collection is key, but we need high capture and high quality for sure. So the key is to put a tax on landfill MBT and incineration in order to give incentives back to composting, anaerobic digestion, biomethane plants, or even biorefineries. Why not? So the key message here is be front runners. Be front runners because those starting earlier will get benefit back from earlier than the others. Thank you so much. It was quite long, but I think I did it.
Thanks, Michele. That was a very inspiring presentation. I hope many people in the audience took notes of what you just said. And I see that we do have some raised hands. We have some people in the audience that would like to react to your presentation. So
Great.
just feel free to ask. Or is it maybe a legacy hand?
Maybe, let's see. Luisa, Masha, there is a hand from her.
It might be a legacy hand.
Okay.
In any case, are there any cities or local authorities that would like to also share their experiences or share their exactly the experiences or their capture rates, impurity rates? How are you doing in that regard? No reactions, I see.
Great. In any case, I hope you will be made available my slides so they can get more insights from the hyperlinks there.
Sure. We will circulate all the slides afterwards with all the participants. So we will make sure that they have the access to both your presentation and also Patrizio's presentation with all the resources and links that have been listed. I do see some hands. So Simon?
Yeah, thanks, me again. I'm the one asking all the questions. So everybody knows that separate collection will be mandatory by the end of the year. So what's your perspective on this, and how do you think, like, how cities across Europe are ready for this? I mean, we see that many cities, many towns are struggling. So what's your take on this? You was working with many cities in Italy, but also beyond.
Yeah. With a EU-wide perspective, unfortunately I'm not so positive. Many cities are not prepared to start with separate collection, and on top of that, the most of those more prepared are actually just saying, okay, let's start in a light way. I don't know, just putting a couple of brown beans here and there, and that's it. Because there is not a numeric target. There is not a quantitative target. It's just the obligation to start with separate collection of bio waste. By the way, it doesn't say you have to start with separate collection of food waste. So maybe a city may just place a garden waste bin in the middle of the city, and that's it. So yeah, we are still lagging behind, and I hope that best practices could replicate sooner than the obligations, because obligation unfortunately will come at a later stage, like recycling targets. But the recycling target of 65% net recycling by 2035 will be probably the most important driver to start intensively with the separate collection of biowaste, because without that, it will not be possible to get to that target.
Great, thanks. Do we have more questions?
I have a question, even though I am not much of a waste expert, but so maybe it's a bit of a stupid question. But you say that raising awareness among citizens is very important. Is there a point at which raising awareness becomes less needed? So if there is a certain capture rate in a city above, for example, 70 kilogram per capita or above 80 kilograms per capita, that you need to do less awareness raising, and that things become just more automatically?
Good question, John. Indeed, maybe changing habits in citizens it's indeed more important where they are really lagging behind and they are maybe not recycling anything. There comes a point in which a city is really quite advanced. We have many examples here in Italy in which the city is already getting to 75-80% separate collection. So we may say that everyone is already sensitized to this extent. Yeah, then there comes other issues like getting to the target. They may improve their habits in improving the quality of the collection. But it's true that changing habit in citizens is really more important when they are not aware of the real importance of their effort. They just see someone collecting the rubbish and that's it. They are not really aware of climate change or the cost of disposal getting to increase in the coming years. Yeah, it's a tricky issue because people is also overwhelmed by people trying to change their habits in different fields. So maybe they're not. Remember that we are talking about rubbish and we are not talking about gold. So it's not so easy to immediately change their habit in separate collection if they don't see the real advantage, and we have to be able to show this.
Sure.
Good.
Maybe a link to that question also. I was thinking about decentralized treatment options. So are these very niche options, or are these options that are only maybe practiced by those people with a clear conscience or like a great awareness of the topic, as you said, or can this be maybe widespread for wider audiences? Or
good question again. Yeah, they may become a good model in many areas, but probably I would answer it like this. We need an indicator. We need a good indicator in order to assess their real performance. Because in most of the situation, we have just seen something like, okay, we have 100 of families using that decentralized proximity composting scheme. Okay, but on that village, what about the rest of the people? Is it really just 100 family, or is it 1,000 family and the other 900 are doing nothing? So it's a good model. It needs indeed a good motivation and engagement by the municipality in order to control this proximity in the case of proximity composting schemes. In the case of decentralized small-scale composting, it requires a government, maybe the region of the province, coordinating those plans, because otherwise the capex are quite high, are really high compared to a very large scale facility. This is my personal opinion, because in Italy we went for another model. We went for very large scale plans, even if then trucks have to travel more distances in order to get to them. So it's a mixture of combination, but really we need good indicators. We don't want any food waste be left to landfill and incineration with whatever model.
Great, thanks. Okay, so unless we have more questions, maybe we can wrap it up here. Sounds good to you? Well, I want to say thank you very much for attending this webinar. Also, thanks to both guest speakers, and thanks to the City Interest Group cities. The next City Interest Group webinar will be communicated through the usual channels, and in case you opted in for receiving further communications when you register for this webinar, you will receive an email further down the line when we have an agenda and an exact date for the session. For updates on circular biocarbon, you should keep an eye on our website. You have the link there on your screen. And we would be very thankful if you could share your thoughts on this event using the feedback form that we have included. And of course, feel free to explore more events of the Circular Week that I'm sure that it's about to finish, but maybe you can still catch up something. And again, thank you very much for joining. See you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.